Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. Alongside Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, it still hasn't really sunk in yet. Fountain Lake football is over for the season. A valiant effort making the playoffs, a tough loss to the Clinton Yellow Jackets, but maybe a little bit of hope as well for our Fountain Lake faithful out there, because although football is over, the basketballs are bouncing down in the gymnasium at Fountain Lake. Good times for the Cobras ahead.
No doubt about it. We did have a great year, and looks like next year we've got a lot to look forward to. But as it is, you're right. I'm ready to get in that court and watch some good basketball, and I think you're going to see that with these coaches we got this year.
And of course, we've got one of them to help us start off the show this week. Coach Aaron Thomas of Fountain Lake Girls Basketball joins us on the show this week. He has shed the Cutter Morningstar red and black, and now he's wearing purple and gold for Fountain Lake. Coach, welcome to the show. A good start so far for your squad already this year. What are some of the differences that you've noticed between the two programs?
Well, I think, love my time at Cutter. One of the things that I'll say to start the year this year, I've loved how these young ladies have bought into what we're doing, how we're playing faster, and the conditioning that it takes to play fast. Everybody wants to play fast until you have to run. And I'm loving these kids and just how hard they work every day.
And of course, coming in with new players, a new system, but I've seen your vision. I've seen the way that you lead these young ladies and build basketball cultures. What are some of the goals that you've set for yourself and for this squad for year number one?
Well, every single day, I tell these young ladies that they'll love them and I care about them. I think that's the most important thing that we can do as coaches, is to pour into these children. As far as goals, though, we want to make the state tournament. Everybody says, give it time, and we will to a certain extent. But I tell them every day, we're Fountain Lake, and the expectation is the expectation, and we want to relish that and make it to the state tournament.
Coach, now with these young ladies, of course, the conferences are a little bit different. Do you see you having to change up your style as far as play, going with a little bit different competition with the conferences that you're up against now with the teams and such?
100%. One thing that we want to do is we want to work inside out. We want to feed our post player Leah McKellar, and then when they double down, we want to hit our shooters, Ireland Kane and Allie Overton, and Bailey Hedges has been the cover off the ball lately.
And of course, Coach, I know that there's some challenges as well. I know there's some youth on this team that we're working to get a little bit stronger in the game. What are some of those challenges that you see that might stand in the way of approaching some of those goals this season?
We're really young, like you said, and there's a lot of new going on. We went to Star City, and we got a couple girls out that didn't play basketball last year. And we're at Star City, and I'm still learning names. They've only had 3 or 4 practices with me, and I'm like, hey, sweet girl, hey, 23. I'm learning names, and that's a big challenge when you're on the road in a hostile environment and you're learning names. So, being new has its advantages and sometimes it's disadvantages, and that was rearing its ugly face right there.
And of course, these are the things that come along with learning a new program, getting acclimated, building those building blocks of the culture. But, we also talk about some of the positives as well. We can see that this team has some really good team strengths as well. What are those in your words, and how do you plan to help build and nurture those strengths to develop these players across the year this year?
Well, first and foremost, we have great kids that love each other. I love my point guard, Sophie Cheney. She's really done a good job of learning, a new system, and I think it affects her more than everybody else because she's got to know all 5 spots. Ireland Kane has done a good job of shooting the ball early, also switch positions. She's working more inside this year. Leah McKellar has done a good job of being physical on the boards, and Bailey Hedges and Allie Overton. Allie's my lone senior, and against Cutter, I think she had 17, and really got going in the second half, and also as did Bailey Hedges. So it's been a lot of fun. There's so many positive things going on with this team. It's been a lot of fun.
Coach, of course, like over at Cutter, you talked about the tradition they have, and I know they were sorry to see you leave from Cutter, but Fountain Lake, as it is, also has a great tradition also, and the community. What do you think about that when you go to these home games and stuff and see all the bleachers filled up in there?
I'm going to tell you what, guys. I first experience in Bass Gymnasium was when we played Cutter, and I'm just now getting my voice back. It is loud, and these people know how to cheer, and there's something to be said about a gymnasium. I mean, it was like how it was, when we were kids and we were playing, and the excitement that's in there, and the community is in there, and man, people here just love Fountain Lake and love the purple and gold. And I told our kids every single day, like, this is so much bigger than you. You don't even understand. It's for this community. And when you're thinking about diving on the floor, you're doing it for the community. And I promise you, if you do, they're liable to blow the roof off this place with excitement.
And Coach, let's expand on that a little bit, because I know that you're not just there to develop great basketball players. You're there to develop great young ladies and leaders for this Fountain Lake community. What role does that character and that leadership play in your program?
It's, here's the deal. It's all about growing young women. We were able to go to church together a few weeks ago. They said, Coach, what do you think about it? And I said, let's do it. Last night we had dinner at IHOP, and we're sitting there at dinner, and one of the cool things I love about this group is they're really, really devoted to putting their phones away and having face-to-face eye contact and learning each other. But, that carries on to the real world and learning how to work through problems. When we go have dinner together, we're not, occasionally we'll talk some basketball, but that happens in the gym, and we're talking life. And one day they're going to be mamas and wives, and we're learning how to navigate the hard stuff together. So, and that's inevitable in life. We have hardships, and we have to keep going. And that's the beauty of sports, is it can help them along their path and their life, learning these life lessons.
Coach, I know these kids, I've watched them grow up at Fountain Lake, and I know, most of their parents too. And as you see, they also have a big interest, not only in basketball, but also education there. But that's something special too, to see the families that you're coaching right now. And you're right, it's a complete unit, isn't it?
It is 100%. We had a parent meeting about a month ago, and I brought in the parents, and before the Lady Cobras take the floor at any level, we're always going to lock arms to remind us that we're doing this together. I had the parents lock arms in the parent meeting, and you should have saw the face. They're like, Coach, what do you mean lock arms? I said, we're doing this together, or we're not doing this at all. And these parents have really locked arms. It's been a lot of fun.
Coach, we're super excited. A new era beginning for Fountain Lake girls basketball. We cannot wait to see what you and the squad do this season. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this week, and good luck the rest of the way this year.
Thanks, guys, and go Cobras.
No doubt. Coach, hey, good luck to you, and look forward to seeing you out there in the games and in the future, and in that state tournament maybe. Okay, buddy?
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Coach Aaron Thomas of Fountain Lake girls basketball. We've got a great show planned for you this week. When we come back, we're going to break down some big baseball awards. Don't go anywhere. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition continues in a moment on 92.9 KVRE.
Second quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. With Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, Major League Baseball is officially in the books for the 2025 campaign. And we waited after the World Series for some of those postseason honors to drop, and all the awards, all the accolades coming in, all the coaches getting recognized, the players, the Cy Youngs, but all eyes were on the American League MVP race, which was one of the closest races in recent memory. But when the votes came in, it was Aaron Judge who took home the honor for the second consecutive year. Aaron Judge hit 53 home runs in the 2025 season. He also won the AL MVP, of course, batting .331, led the majors in on-base percentage, and this was his fourth season with at least 50 home runs. He won his first batting title and was American League Hank Aaron Award winner. But not everybody is satisfied with this result, including me, and I'm looking over at you right now, and I think including you as well, because the Cinderella story this year was absolutely Cal Raleigh, the catcher for the Seattle Mariners. He finished as the runner-up in the voting. Raleigh hitting 60 home runs this year, the most ever by a catcher, the most ever by a switch hitter, drove in 125 runs, scored 110 of his own. He carried Seattle's offense. And look, I know, and that everybody out there will be the first to say, these awards do not consider what happens after the regular season, which Cal Raleigh helped lead the Mariners to Game 7 of the American League Championship Series, went to extra innings, fell just short of reaching the World Series for the first time ever for Seattle. The Yankees, they didn't get out of the division series round here. So let me ask you this. Did they get it right? Aaron Judge over Cal Raleigh?
You already know that answer. You already know that. We were on the Cal Raleigh bandwagon early in the season, especially with his ties to Arkansas and, of course, the Travelers and everything. But not only that, but what he did, both sides of the plate, calling games, catching. I mean, and here's the biggest thing. I don't know who they are. I guess it's the media that calls for the MVPs, but as it is right now, when it came to the Players' Choice Award, it was Cal Raleigh. So, I mean, and they're the ones, the competition was there. They're the ones that were on there to see what was going on. They literally played against them. And as far as being in every game, being further, if you want to talk, going further than the Yankees did, and all he did, all of his accolades, who vote? I mean, and they said it was by 4 votes. So, what? Who is they, Mark? Please tell me. Who is
it
they?
Was close. Well, here's the most I can tell you about who they are. They is a mixture of people that always have the vote every year, combined with a rotating list of individuals. Some in the media, some are associated with MLB themselves, and that allows a little bit of extra parity in the voting there. It's not just the same group of like 8 dudes sitting in a conference room up in New York, voting on this thing. Although you could make the argument that maybe this did happen in New York for the Yankees, Aaron Judge, to get the call here. But you called it out, the Players' Choice vote. I believe that if you asked the players to select the MVP, if you asked only MLB players, and I would say take out anyone from Seattle, take out anyone from New York, no bias there, ask the other teams, they'd tell you Cal Raleigh, hands down. I think it'd be unanimous Cal Raleigh. But if you ask people in the media, outside the game, where for whatever reason there's a New York Yankee bias, I do believe that they would go with Aaron Judge here. And it's not to discredit what Aaron Judge has done. 4 seasons of 50 home runs, batting .331, leading the majors in on-base percentage was key. You could argue against it slightly because he did miss some time due to injury, which doesn't hinder the stats. If anything, it preserves the stats and makes sure that they don't go down whenever Cal Raleigh gets more at-bats or whatever. But when you look at what Cal Raleigh did, we talk about the most home runs ever by a catcher, the most home runs ever by a switch hitter. If we don't consider the postseason, here's another argument for Cal Raleigh: 0 passed balls defensively during the regular season. 0. Another impressive feat for a catcher as well. I think Cal Raleigh's season, they use this term Babe Ruthian as kind of like the adjective to describe, a greatest of all time-esque type season. Obviously elevating the Mariners' profile, energizing the fan base, and I'll just be honest, getting people excited about baseball altogether. I mean, he was among the league's elite in WAR. On-base percentage was still very high for Cal Raleigh as well. I really think that this one got away. He played over 1,000 innings, caught more than 17,000 pitches without a single passed ball. I think it's a season that has never occurred in MLB history, and if that is not indicative of the most valuable player, I don't know what is. I don't know what is.
Well, that's just it, Mark, and that's why I was inquiring about they or them that are on this supposedly, elite status of being able to send in a vote. because if you recall, now they quit doing this. If you recall, back in the day when they would have fans for the All-Stars and stuff like that, and then for this to take consideration, and of course there's some people out there that are just going to throw off the cuff, and this kind of deal. But if you really look around, the New York market is one of the, if not the largest, between that and L.A. probably, right? So if you're part of the media, obviously there's rather large contention right there with the sports writers out of New York. So, I mean, if you look at it from that standpoint, but also, and like you were talking about, I don't know who these people are that are on that, but if you get to the reality of it all, just like you said, those stats, that one with the pass balls is unbelievable. I didn't know about that one. That's absolutely ludicrous. But if you look at the status of it all, playing in more games and all the other totals and accolades and stuff, you're the numbers guy. But this was a no-brainer. An absolute no-brainer.
To me, it was.
Now, okay, now let's do this. 501-915-1300. Now, if you're serious, if you really talk, baseball, let us know who you think. Just between the two. Now, of course, it doesn't matter to Hilla Beans now. It's already said and done. But let us know who you think. We want to know, because I'm bothered about it. I'll be honest with you. If you cannot take this in reality check with the way he played, this may never happen again. Because Aaron Judge, he's good in the outfield, but he's not that great. He's not.
He's not known for his defense.
No.
But you can make the argument that Cal Raleigh this season was known for doing something offensively that's never been done before. And I don't know if the defensive thing has ever been done before. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I do know that it's pretty incredible for a catcher to have that level of success there.
Are you kidding me?
He was the complete package.
Way.
He was the complete package. So you look at the NL MVP. We haven't mentioned that yet. Guess who? It's Shohei Ohtani, right?
Yeah,
Unanimous MVP. Okay, and he did something. He's also a unicorn when it comes to the game as well. He slugged 55 home runs. He led the MLB with 146 runs, and he also, as a pitcher, had a 2.87 ERA over 47 innings pitched for the Dodgers. It's another unicorn type situation. One of those seasons that's never been done before. So why can't, if it works for the NL, if it works for the Golden Boy, and who I think is the GOAT, the greatest player of all time, Shohei Ohtani, why can't you do the same for the American League? Because in the American League, it looks like, well, we gave it to the best hitter. And statistically, you might say, okay, Aaron Judge was the better hitter overall if you don't include, the milestone season and the greatest season ever for a position as the catcher for Cal Raleigh. Aaron Judge was the third player ever to pair a batting title with at least 50 home runs. It's his third AL MVP of his career, and he's certainly going to be a Hall of Famer. We all know that. So it just looks odd, and I get it. Ohtani is top tier, upper echelon. There's no equal to him in the game right now. It doesn't look equal to me in terms of when you consider AL versus NL here.
No, I'm going to cry. It's not fair. I'm just be honest with you. I'm not going to go too far, but just say it's not fair. And I'm just going to go there. Please let us know what you think. 501-915-1300. Just give us one or the other. Which one do you think, Aaron Judge or Cal Raleigh? That's all we want to know. Because in my opinion, which means, as far as the MLB commissioner is concerned, doesn't amount to much, but maybe someday you and I'll get a vote.
Oh, I hope so. I'm waiting for my turn to get a vote. Hey, a few more big awards as well. Congratulations to the Cy Young Award winners in the American League. Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers, fresh off of a dominant season where he led the AL in ERA and WHIP. He struck out 241 batters, went 13-6, led the Tigers to the AL wild card, and he became only the 12th pitcher ever to win back-to-back Cy Young Awards. How incredible was Skubal and the Tigers this year?
Oh, no doubt. Unbelievable. When he came out, it was just that simple, shutdown power, and everybody knew it. And it wasn't just a string. He had it the whole year. And, just unbelievable, his focus. And doing it with only 2 pitches. He's got the off-speed one, but he could put it, for somebody that could bring in that changeup, that was crazy. And everybody knew it was coming. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
That was the slider. They didn't know. It didn't matter. He was going to throw it. and they couldn't hit it.
You all know, everybody knows it's coming. He could even tell you what pitch he's going to throw. Good luck hitting it.
Yeah,
That's
well,
the kind of confidence
The
that he
announcers,
has there.
I mean, every time you watch it, the announcer are like, here, he just got the same sign.
One of the best in the game.
And
one of the best in the game.
They would miss it by a mile.
Another young man who is one of the best in the game. We're watching it unfold. You know, we think about Shohei Ohtani and how he started off with the Los Angeles Angels and wasn't able to really get his full potential. He made a move. Now he's won 2 World Series in a row. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Paul Skeens here, but the Pirates ace led the MLB with a 1.97 ERA. He's just the 3rd pitcher to win Rookie of the Year and Cy Young within his first 2 seasons in the league. Unanimously, the NL Cy Young award winner, Paul Skeens at the Pittsburgh Pirates. I know he's rotting away over in Pittsburgh. I know there's a lot of trade rumors,
my next question.
speculation.
There we go. Where's he going?
Yeah, if the stove is hot,
right,
he's the hottest name on the stove. Paul Skeens, where's he going? Well, of course, all the rumors about where do they have him going? New York.
New York.
You
know it.
Right. So do I think Paul is going to stay in Pittsburgh for his career? No, I don't think so. Now, I believe that either he will be traded eventually and try to get as much draft capital as possible, or it may be a situation of, well, no, there's no way they let him go to free agency and walk. There is absolutely
too much money on the table. Too much money on the table. Roberto Clemente's rolling over right now.
And, of course, your Rookie of the Year in the AL is Nick Kurtz for the Athletics, putting together one of the most complete rookie seasons at the plate. He was a unanimous selection in 117 games this year, hit .290 with a .619 slugging percentage. He led all rookies with 36 homers, 86 RBIs, and 90 runs scored. There's not a lot to be excited about for the Athletics this year because this year they were just known as the Athletics. I don't know if you knew this. They did not have a city attached to their name this year. They were just simply the Athletics. Of course, we all know they're going to Vegas as their new home. I believe that they're going to keep the Athletics name. I really hope they do. The Athletics have been all over the place. Kansas City, Philadelphia, Oakland. They should keep the tradition. Make it the Las Vegas A's, but real big exciting news there for Nick.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So many great memories of them through the years. Raleigh Fingers, the rest of the crew, and just their run. Remember their run?
Yes,
I mean, most fabulous.
Yeah,
and then
one of my favorite teams,
the Money
too.
Pit.
Oh yeah, the Moneyball.
Love that one.
Time for me to start bringing up Moneyball quotes every show for the next forever.
What a great Abe, man! That was one of my favorite Brad Pitts. He's been in a bunch.
Yeah, probably my favorite Brad Pitt movie.
I mean, he was just down to earth and always had the little quick, you got to come up with those.
Yeah. One more National League Rookie of the Year here. The 10th Braves player to win. It's Drake Baldwin, the catcher for the Atlanta Braves, slashing a .274, .341, .469 line. 19 home runs. He led the National League in WAR, while ranking as one of the best blocking catchers in the game. See, hey, they gave the catcher the National League Rookie of the Year to a catcher, but not the AL MVP. All right, I got to let it go. Yeah. I got to let it go. So many great moments, great years for MLB. Probably one of the best years in the game ever, from the postseason, the World Series going to Game 7, extra innings. I mean, we are living in potentially the best era of baseball right now. We may not know it yet, and I know it's not all the players that we grew up with as our favorites back in the day. I know you were a big Orioles fan. I'm a huge White Sox fan. I love Frank Thomas, always will. But we may be looking at the best era of the MLB right now. Time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah, if they just let them play, that's the biggest deal right there. Let them play. And, hopefully the money doesn't get in the way. But, it was absolutely a phenomenal year. No doubt. I have to concur with you on that one, especially the playoffs. Unbelievable.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk a little NBA. Load management, we've got something to say about it, and it's right here on 92.9 at KVRE.
Don't forget to text us, 501-915-1300. Who was your MVP? Third quarter coming up.
And we're back, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE with Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, let's kick things over to the National Basketball Association, where the first month of the season is nearly in the books. And the biggest story in the NBA this fall is not the defending champions' hot start, the Oklahoma City Thunder. It is not Luka Doncic's rise for the Los Angeles Lakers. The biggest story in the NBA in the first month is not The gambling scandal, although it could be, because I know a Senate hearing is coming up and that one is going to just blow this thing wide open. The truly biggest story in the NBA in this first month, Tracy, is injuries. The NBA season is barely a month old, and there have been several injuries to key players and stars across the league. Giannis and Victor Wembanyama are the latest additions who are going to be sidelined for several weeks. The Bucks superstar recovering from a groin strain, while the Spurs big man dealing with a calf strain. We mentioned calf strains. It's happening all across the league in record numbers. Of course, Tyrese Halliburton back in the NBA Finals earlier this year in Game 7, nursing a calf strain, decides to play anyway, ends up blowing out his Achilles. He's out for the year, and well, I don't even have to tell you. You can look at the NBA standings and see where the Pacers are. The season is already over for Indiana, and the first month is not even through the books yet. Anthony Davis, Ja Morant, Jrue Holiday, Ty Jerome, Dylan Harper, all big names dealing with calf strains. You got Trae Young, Jonathan Kuminga, Derek Jones Jr. They're out with knee injuries. Kawhi Leonard, Dorian Finney-Smith, they've got ankle injuries. Joel Embiid is on the list. Jason Tatum is on the list. And of course, LeBron James finally making his season debut this week after missing 14 games due to sciatica in his back. And the injuries on the rise. We talked about Achilles, Kevin Durant, Tyrese Halliburton, Jaylen Brown, and more. So injuries are on the rise, soft tissue and lower leg injuries surging across the league, and it's raising a lot of concerns about pace, about schedule, and about player workload. Now, Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr has been outspoken. He's probably one of the most outspoken head coaches in the league, period. But he's been very outspoken about the league's schedule for several years. And I have to say, he's been one of the biggest supporters of what you hate out there, load management. Steve Kerr says he's very concerned about injuries, citing the dramatic increase in pace as a leading culprit. Now, pace is more than just a word. It's a new advanced stat that the NBA is measuring in recent years. It measures a team's possessions per game. And this season alone, 24 out of the 30 teams in the league have a pace above 100, meaning they have more than 100 possessions per game. In layman's terms, we're moving fast. Everything is fast in this game. Not only are, I believe the average amount of points scored in the NBA right now per game is 122 per team,
Exactly.
which would have never happened back in the 90s, by the way. Defense, where's the defense? No one plays defense anymore. And of course, with the proficiency of the three-point ball as well, the game has changed, and the game has gotten a lot faster, a lot of cuts, a lot of fast breaks, quick ball movement. Camera operators out there are getting whiplash from having to move down the court so fast here. But does Steve Kerr have a point here, Tracy? You've got 82 games in the regular season. Players are now trending into this faster era of the NBA where there's more points being scored, more possessions. The schedule is being more condensed where you might see 5-6 games in a week, long road trips, not as many days off in between, not as much time allowed for players to heal. So the only way to get rest is to take nights off, that dreaded load management. What are your thoughts on Steve Kerr's proposition here, which is we need to see fewer games in the regular season in the NBA?
Well, Mark, here's the deal. That's not going to happen, for one thing. And because if you leave it to the owners, they'd be playing twice as many games as this right now. I mean,
and why is that?
The money at the door.
It's because of the money.
The money at the door. And also, hey, look, if you don't have butts in those seats, guess what? You're not getting the revenue that you're paying those big time players. Now, look, what you fail to submit on that also is these guys not only are playing more minutes, but they're getting more dollars. They're the biggest average payoff that the NBA's ever had, ever. Bigger contracts than they've ever had, ever. And here they can't, but if they can't handle it, I mean, if they take a day off, why not go ahead and subtract their pay from it if they want to do that? You know, look, if you want to be brass about it, because look, they're the ones who put themselves in the situation. They're the ones getting the big contracts. So if you want to step up to the plate and get those jillions of dollars, and then well, you got to do it. And I can guarantee you, the union's not going to stop it. The commissioner's not going to stop it because the owners are the ones that make it happen. And they've got to be able to, all these fabulous coliseums now and everything, they just don't come for free. You know, you don't buy a jersey out there. When was the last time you bought a professional team's jersey? Good luck on that one, okay? About 3 or 4 paychecks, all right?
Well, I'll tell you right now, in the NBA, I want to do it.
Yeah.
But my willpower says I can't do it, mainly because all my favorite players get traded, and I don't want to be the guy walking around town with a jersey, and then people, you don't play there no more. Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
They traded it. I know. I'm a Jazz fan. I get it.
Well, and also, I mean, if you've ever been to a game, you know what I'm talking about. Not just this cost of the seat, but $12 soda pops, $15 popcorn, everything about it. So, look. Yeah, they're getting hurt because they're playing a lot of minutes. And you're right, no defense. This isn't the Detroit team that we saw against the Chicago teams back in the days. This is run and gun. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And they're getting a lot of minutes. And, you know, and here's the statute too, though. If you look at it from a biology aspect of it, I'm not a doctor, of course, but from
Yes,
that
you are.
aspect, well, yes,
I've seen that video. Yes, you are.
I am. You're right. But you're absolutely right on that one. Forgot about that one. But anyway, the guys that are that tall, okay, substantially are more apt to have lower extremity problems. And it's just that simple, whether it's their feet, which
Just due to gravity, mainly.
yeah, exactly. But it's just it's a prospect right there of physicality that you're looking from the feet all the way up to the knees and even into the hip area.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens. It's just that simple. You're not made for running and gunning long distances. You're made for reaching up and grabbing things and stuff like that. And lo and behold, that's what's happening right here. And you're right. When do these teams have time to work out? Even during the Christmas break, they're having what? A tournament.
That's exactly right. You know, Steve Kerr said on this recent road trip for the Warriors, he said he played 6 games in 8 days, said we didn't have a single practice.
No.
How could we? When?
No.
On those off days, it sounded like you had 2 days off. No, they have to travel, and you know, like there's no time off. There's no time off to squeeze anything in. Any coach will tell you they're not going to have a full-fledged practice on game day. Everybody's going to be gassed out by the time the game comes around, which is the moment that actually matters on game day. You know, the NBA has tried discouraging teams from load managing players. There's a new player participation policy that started in the 23-24 season. And just this week, Cleveland benched its 2 best players, Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell, and the Cavaliers were fined $100,000 because those 2 players were rested on Tuesday's game against the Miami Heat. Now, Steve Kerr says that the NBA has done a, quote, great job of trying to protect players by cutting down schedule overloads and including, you know, those 4 games in 5 nights. But with games scheduled the other day, it cuts in on that practice time. Kerr is pushing for a shortened regular season in the upcoming league meetings, says cutting the season down to 72 or 75 games. So that's what? A reduction of 7 to 10 games per season would make a dramatic difference for the players. But of course, like you said, and even Steve Kerr is aware, it would make a case that given fewer games would result in less revenue. Here's how I look at it from my perspective. So I'm an NBA fan. The closest team that I can go watch NBA games is in Memphis. We've been to multiple Memphis Grizzlies games. And if I'm going to go schedule at my time, get my family together, it's you know, gas and we got to eat out that night. And we would typically get a hotel, but probably get some stuff at the game, souvenirs and stuff. If I have to plan to invest a fair amount of money to make this one night happen, and you know,
who's your player you want to watch?
Well, here we go.
Yeah.
So I do, you know, in terms of basketball talent, we do like to watch Ja Morant. I can't say that I like to watch Ja Morant in terms of character, but we also don't just go watch any Memphis Grizzlies game. We go to the ones where they're playing against a team that we also like. Like the last one I went to, they played the Utah Jazz, my favorite team. LeBron James is in the West, so sometimes the Lakers go to Memphis that one time a year. So we try to get tickets to that game to see LeBron James before ultimately he walks into the sunset 20 years from now. So, you know, we try to schedule around trying to see as many great players as we can, not only on the Grizzlies, but whoever they're playing against as well. If I know in advance that the Lakers are coming, but LeBron James isn't going to play, I'm not going to buy tickets to that game. I'm not
No,
going to.
Absolutely not.
If I get to the game expecting to see LeBron James play, and then all of a sudden he's a late cut and he's not playing tonight, well, I've already bought tickets. I'm going to stay and watch the game, but I'm going to be really, really disappointed, right? So, you talk about loss of revenue. Loss of revenue comes in multiple ways here. I get it. I believe, I'm on the fence because I believe that teams have to have the ability to rest their players, because if they continue to go without that break in between, they will sustain injuries. And then, let's say, LeBron James for the first 14 games of the season didn't get to play, mainly due to injuries sustained in the offseason. Let's use another example. Let's use Giannis as an opportunity here, as an example here. Let's say Giannis is my favorite player in the NBA for the Milwaukee Bucks. They're coming to play the Grizz, and he's out because of injury. Well, I'm not going to that game. I'm not going to buy tickets to that game, and I don't think many will in that instance to go see that particular game. There's a lot of loss of revenue when a player gets injured and is out for multiple weeks as well, because I believe that other NBA fans, or maybe even just casual NBA fans, are just like me, where they try to schedule their time and their family's money, and look, everything's tight in 2025, to schedule around those moments to see their favorite players. If they're injured, it's the same result. They're going to lose money if there's load management to keep them from getting injured. They're also going to lose money if they keep playing and get injured. So if they're going to lose money either way, why not protect the product and ensure that they're around for more games during the season?
In the long run.
Yes.
In the long run. No
yes.
doubt. Yeah. And $100,000, Mark. Come on, really?
Well, it felt like kind of a cheap shot, honestly, toward the Cavaliers there, but I get it. The NBA and Adam Silver really wants to make that statement. And I get it, because fans don't want to get to the game and like, oh, Spider Mitchell's not playing tonight. Great. I just took a night off of work. I just saved all this money, and I feel like it's wasted. I feel like it's a wasted opportunity. So I'm assuming that there's got to be some sort of a middle ground where it can protect the players and it can protect what I'll call the best interests of the league, which apparently is to make money and nothing else. There's got to be a middle ground here. I'm just not sure what it is, but I do believe that a reduction of games could be beneficial if it results in higher quality of play in the remaining games in the season.
Well, Mark, and absolutely it would. You know that. I mean, that's just common sense right there. If you had some rest, your performance, obviously, just take off the cuff professional football players. If they play on Monday night and they had to come back on Thursday.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I mean, all right. How much? I mean, really? So it's the same instance. Any professional sport, they give it 110% most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
They give it all. They're there because they love the sport, and they're making,
Well, I mean, think about all the hoops they had to jump through to get there.
Well, that's the deal. But
even the worst team in the NFL, for example, it's a team full of players that went through almost impossible odds to get to the highest stage in the game they love. Well, so much work goes into it. So much effort goes into it. And then for a career to be cut short due to injury, due to overload, boy, that feels almost like a life.
So what if you do this?
Wasted.
Yeah, what if you do this? So you cut back games, but then you raise the ticket.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming that's what the NBA would do.
Well, I mean, that's what the owner.
I don't think it's the right move to do, but I think it's what they would do.
Well, that's the only way to the common ground that the owner. I mean, they're not going to listen to us anyway, but it wouldn't matter. But that would be the only reasoning to fix it. Lesser games, bigger at the box office. Tickets would go up. Now, what that happy number would be is something, but that's the deal. They're not going to back off on the numbers.
I know it.
That's just that simple. I'm sorry, but they're not going to. Those guys that, just like you said, those players that spent all those years getting to where they are, well, guess what? Those owners, most of them, spent quite a few days trying to get to where they are.
I think regardless, I think ticket prices will go up over the years anyway, whether it's due to inflation or any other aspect of the game. I mean, we're not living in the 1970s anymore, where tickets were a lot cheaper back then than they are now. So you have to realistically expect that ticket prices will go up for one reason or another. What really needs to go up with the prices of the tickets is the quality of the game. They need to make sure that I want to use my hard-earned money to go to those games. They want to make sure that out of everything that I could do on a Friday night, that's what I choose to do.
Well, sure. That's the way it is. It's once again, it's a sport, but it's a game, but it's a show. And that's what they do.
It is.
That's the bottom line.
It feels like entertainment more than a sporting event.
That's what it is anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to do. If you've been to just like
most
you said that,
most Grizzlies games that I go to have a concert at halftime.
They got a concert, and they got the girls coming out and cheerleading. They got some, shoot from half court or whatever the case is for $100,000.
Yep.
They've got all that entertainment, every bit of it. And then when you go to the outside of the Coliseum or through there, they got bands playing all around it. So, it's a full-fledged entertainment. It's a money market. And it's just that simple. Those owners are not going to back off. I got news for you, Mark. And guess what? For every player that falls down, they got another one stepping right up.
Yeah, because everybody's dying to get into the league.
It's that simple.
All right, when we come back, we got to talk about the NFL, a big week, some huge games on tap for this weekend. We'll break it all down when we come back. 92.9 at KVRE.
Fourth quarter coming up.
And we're back. Tracy, the NFL is here. And last week, one of the coolest things that we've ever seen, history in the NFL. 5 teams winning on the final play of the game. It tied the all-time record for most game-winning scores in a single day. Carolina, Chicago, Denver, Houston, and Miami winning on the final play of the game. And in total, there have been 43 games this season decided in the final 2 minutes or overtime, the most ever through Week 11. It's been a really fun NFL season so far.
Oh, no doubt, man. I'm telling you. And, I'd say my favorite teams out of it, sort of, so to speak. Had a good game the other night. But the 2 teams that we picked off the chart, just off the wall, you know what I mean? How about that for leading the league right now and stuff? And then also another record could be close at hand is the sack record for Denver right now. So we're seeing a lot of games that are going down to the nitty-gritty mark and special take. You know what I'm saying? The third, what? What do I always say? There's 3 phases.
Offense, defense, and special teams.
So, hey, field goals. And we just had the record 70-yarder. So what's new? What else could happen? You know what I mean?
Well, one big game that we had our eyes on was Rams and Seahawks. And Los Angeles took care of Seattle fairly convincingly, marking their 5th straight win. They move into first place in the NFC West. I said this last week, and I stand by it. First of all, I was wrong, and I'm sorry. But second of all, I believe that the winner of that game jumped into first place in my heart in terms of Super Bowl favorite, and I now have the L.A. Rams as my favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. Not that the Eagles are bad. Eagles are sitting at 8-2, and would you believe it? Would you believe who's standing on top of the good old NFC North? My boys.
About
the Bears are 7-3. Say it isn't so.
Dub Bears.
3 in a row for the Bears. They've got a pretty big one coming up this week. Of course, they've got old Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers is hurt, by the way.
Is he going to be there? That's the deal.
I don't know.
I don't think so. He looked pretty bad when he was walking off the field.
Yeah, I don't know. He may miss his annual shellacking of the Chicago Bears this year.
How many runs does he have in a row on them?
Look, it's a lot. It's a
Multiple.
really bad tradition for Chicago fans. But Chicago's looking really, really good. That's a huge matchup, Pittsburgh and Chicago. Tampa Bay is going to face the Rams. Tampa Bay 6-4, the Rams 8-2. That's a primetime game there. Both of these games featuring division leaders battling for playoff seeding. Of course, you got the Eagles and the Cowboys. This one's in Dallas. It's a crucial NFC East clash. Does Dallas have any chance? They're desperate to stay in the playoff hunt here.
Well, yes, they do if they play like they did the other day. Of course, it was Vegas, okay? But their defense, there's no way. This is going to have to be a high-scoring game, obviously. And if Dallas does win, we're looking at 38-35, something like that, because there's no way that Dallas's defense, they couldn't stop anybody. It's just that simple.
And despite the 8-2 record for Philly, Saquon Barkley has not been as elite as he was last year, and we knew there'd be some fall off there, so I don't really discredit Barkley a whole lot. Jalen Hurts hasn't also really been that strong either. It's been the defense and really the special teams, the kicking game for the Eagles, which has really helped propel them to victory. Another big matchup, Colts and Chiefs, big showdown there. Indianapolis goes to Kansas City. Colts are 8-2. Jonathan Taylor is emerging as an MVP candidate. The Chiefs blew a close one against Denver last week. They need a win to stay alive, just to make the postseason. Forget the division.
Mark, that's another one right there. Of course, Kansas City keeps getting at home these home games. I don't know how, but Indianapolis is the real deal. And another record going to probably be broke there also. Taylor doesn't, surmount. He's just the real deal. It's just that simple. And finally, got an offensive line that he can run behind, but also that little skirt out of the backfield that he does. He catches those passes too. So it's something special. But I'm just seeing Indianapolis going ahead and putting their thumb right on Kansas City, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. Indianapolis looking really, really strong. Although I might say that Travis Kelce, after a slow start to the season,
he's picking up.
He's on pace to having 1,000-yard receiving season at his age at the tight end position. With a touchdown against Denver, he becomes Kansas City's all-time leader in receiving touchdowns.
And he's third on the board for tight ends, right? I think he's third.
I think that's right. So
he's third. So
he still has some gas left in the tank. And I'll tell you right now, you can never count out Kansas City. They're looking at a wild card finish later on this year, but you can never count them out. If they're in the postseason, they will pull out all the stops to try to make some big noise.
Real quick, you know what I noticed? They didn't get all the calls the other night either.
Well, I know you're super excited about that one.
They didn't get all the calls that he wanted. He went up and got in the ear of the head official.
Look, Denver is a really, really strong football team. One of the best Broncos squads we've seen in years, and there have been some good ones over time.
Ready for the trivia?
All right, what's the trivia?
They're fixing to break the sack record. Who held the sack record of all time? What defense?
Oh, boy. Well, let me think. What defense? I mean, it has to be the Bears.
Hello?
It has to be the Bears.
84 Bears.
Yeah. I mean, the greatest defensive team in the history of the game.
All-time sack record is fixing to be taken down by the Denver Broncos. How about that?
Hey, seeing things, seeing a history, that makes the game exciting for sure. And another one here that I'm excited about, although the matchup itself isn't super great. It's the Ravens and the Jets. Baltimore looking to extend its winning streak against the struggling New York Jets, but Baltimore could be in line for 5 in a row. The first of those, mind you, was a Cooper Rush-led win, but since Lamar Jackson's come back, I mean, this was a team that was absolutely in the cellar of the division, and there was with an injured Lamar Jackson, there was no way they were going to pull themselves out. Oops, I might have spoke too soon, because Baltimore is definitely back in the mix there. And, depending on how things go with this Bears and Pittsburgh matchup, Pittsburgh's only 6-4. Baltimore's 5-5.
They're getting behind is all.
Yeah, talk about a division lead maybe being coughed up by Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin. This is an exciting division to watch.
Not only that, Mark, but we talked about this. We knew that. Vegas still had them in the running.
They did.
They were in the cellar, and Vegas still had them in the running to come back and not only compete, but win their division and go on into the playoffs. Now, take it for what it's worth, but then if Aaron Rodgers is out, okay, and then Pittsburgh has a little bit of a situation there. Although they've got a good defense, it's not that great. Against the rush, too, of all things. You would think with their defensive line with some of those star players. No, actually, they're not one of the best rush defenses around. So, I don't know, man. One of those breakout games, and then they're right back there leading the division, because they would have then, against Pittsburgh, they would have the upper hand.
I had to do a double take when I looked at Monday Night Football, because these two teams actually have fairly good seasons this year. San Francisco's 7-4, and the Carolina Panthers are 6-5, and they are just a smidge shy of being division leaders.
I can't wait for that one, man.
Looking to try to take down the Tampa Bay Bucks there. And the Bucks might lose that game.
Yeah, I can't.
Could you imagine that after this week, Carolina could be a division leader?
Well, here's the deal. San Francisco, Purdy's back. They're back. They're all getting healthy, and we know what their running back can do. San Francisco, watch out for them, too. I know the Rams got the upper echelon.
You're going to have
right
three teams from the NFC West in the postseason.
That's why some of these smaller teams like Dallas, if they don't pick it up,
they're in trouble.
They won't make the playoffs.
Yes, absolutely.
They won't make it.
Trouble. All right, that's our show, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. We're here every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. with Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. We'll see you next week.
Game over.